The Game Awards are about a week away and insiders have been giving us hints as to who Challenger Pack 5 isn't going to be. Both Savi and Verjban have been disconfirming companies and individual characters, and it seems Nintendo's helping out as well by putting Resident Evil spirits in the game. But we haven't heard about who it's going to be, that is, until a user on SMASHBURB by the name of FATMANONICE decided to spill the beans.
Now for a continuation of the previous post. 2. Returning to the Power of 6 theory. Now that we've established a timeline and have decent evidence that Season 2 was decided very soon, after the planning of Season 1, the Fighter's Pass was finalized. It opens up some very interesting venues to explore. As a quick recap, the Power of 6 theory suggests that the original plan was for each Fighter's Pass to have 6 Mii costumes or hats, and there's a lot of evidence to support this. Plans for Season 2 probably derailed a good number of these plans and caused omissions throughout the Fighter's Pass. Currently, we see this in Fighter's Pass 2 to 4. Let's break this down. Joker. Given the timeline we explained earlier, Joker would have been virtually done by the time Season 2 had been decided. Strong evidence for this is that Joker was not only in the game's code at launch by the February Direct had a functional Joker model, and thanks to the Nintendo of America source, we know that Directs generally take a month to make at the very least with editing, translating, and post-production. This means a functional Joker likely existed in January. Again, around the time Season 2 was probably decided. Based on this, it makes sense that Joker is the only character so far with a full 6. He was pretty much done when Season 2 was decided, so why change anything? 4 Persona and 2 Sonic Mii costumes. Moving on. Hero. Following the Power of 6 theory, it's very easy to see that Hero was missing 2 Mii costumes. Simple conclusion. The Chocobo Mii hat and Geno were originally planned for Hero. Because of when Season 2 was decided, it can be theorized that they really didn't have time to negotiate, plan, and create replacements, so they simply removed them. What's particularly interesting about this is that if Nintendo was already given permission and access to these assets, it stands to reason that they obviously weren't just thrown away. That's stupid. Especially since they're third party, and let's face it, it's kind of a pain in the ass to get these sorts of things. That means that Nintendo still has Geno and Chocobo assets in the vault for future use. What could the future use be? Golly, mystery upon mysteries. I have no idea what this could possibly suggest. Snark aside, if this does mean that Geno's promotion is more than likely a coming. Chocobo is kind of lonely, isn't it? Hats never come alone, they are always paired with something from the same company. What's the only other Square name heard among insiders? Sephiroth. Sephiroth Mii costume incoming, possibly with one winged angel attached. Food for thought. Banjo. Banjo's interesting. His Mii costumes are a hodgepodge of things. 2 Capcom, 1 Pokemon, 1 Konami, and a Sans Undertale. Weird. We're now just missing one for all full 6, but my theory is that there was another plan initially. My theory is that all the Mega Man Mii costumes were originally planned for this pass because, screw you, that's why, Sakurai said, probably. What makes me think this? When you look at all the Fighters Pass, Mii costume additions from Smash 4 are overwhelmingly in even numbers. Tails and Knuckles for Joker. What would have been Geno and Chocobo for Hero? Banjo wound up being Protoman and Zero. Terry wound up getting Akira and Jackie. Let's continue this train of thought. Mega Man EXE and Mega Man X are still MIA. Adding either to form a team of 3 would break the well-established pattern we've seen of even numbers. Who in Banjo's pass seems really out of place. Surprisingly, it's not Sans. It's the Team Rocket Grunt. Not only is it the only second-party Mii costume in the entire Fighter's Pass, it's the only Mii fighter in this pass. Let's now make the argument that the Grunt was replacement for Mega Man X or EXE. Plug both Mega Man in and watch what happens. 2 swordsmen and 4 gunners. Once again, this is unusually balanced and seemingly deliberate. Unfortunately, all this evidence suggests that no other Microsoft were negotiated or considered, and that Nintendo literally just negotiated for Banjo and some characters as cameos. This kind of adds even more evidence that Steve and Master Chief more than likely aren't in the vault at the moment. Terry seemingly has the smallest change of the previous 2, just 1 Mii costume missing. 3 SNK and 2 Sega. Very strong fighting game theme. This sets a very strong precedent for who the omitted costume is. Dollars to donuts that it was Heihachi. Not a hard conclusion, and further strengthened by how Banjo had Goemon, the lone Konami rep for Pass 3. Heihachi being the lone Namco rep for Pass 4 is perfectly acceptable and fits the overall theme like a glove. Now, thanks to Forsaken's theory yesterday concerning time, We have established that Nintendo's choice was to overwhelmingly omit characters rather than renegotiate or plan for something else. This means that Heihachi also got thrown in the vault to use later. Clink, this also tells something else I only just realized this morning. This hard establishes that Heihachi was never planned for number 5. They have the assets, but obviously there wasn't enough time to convert him into a full-blown character. They had someone else in mind. Let's now move to number 5. The mysterious number 5. So now we've come to the end of Journey. We've come to the conclusions that 1. There's very strong evidence that all the Smash 4 DLC costumes were meant to return, and 2. These Mii costumes were never planned as playable for the Fighter's Pass. With this in mind, what do we have left that's not in the vault? Gil, Lloyd, and both Monster Hunter costumes. Interesting. 2 Namco costumes. All have swords. 3 have heavy armor. Interesting. Seems to be a theme. Who uses a sword and wears heavy armor? I say, son, Now, based on pass patterns aside from Banjo, every pass has at least 2 Mii costumes from the series of their fighter. What does this tell us? It tells us that the chances of Heihachi, Lloyd, and Gil all being Mii costumes in number 5 is incredibly small. If pass patterns persist of even numbers of returning Smash 4 costumes, they will settle on 2 for Namco. Gil is most definitely one of them, leaving Heihachi and Lloyd. My theory is that they plan to go with Heihachi. Why? Heihachi was already omitted once from a previous pass, appeared in the base game, and according to Sakurai caused a lot of problems trying to implement in Smash 4. Meanwhile, Sakurai's review of Lloyd was pretty glowing and suggested there was little debate of which Tails character he wanted to add if he ever got the chance. Based on this, Lloyd's going in the vault and Heihachi is in Pass 5. This is what Pass 5 now looks like. 2 mysterious costumes from the same series, 2 Namco, and 2 Monster Hunter. Even Steven and following patterns of the previous passes. Now, this is a lot to take in. If you take these new conclusions and plug them into my old conclusions, it makes the argument for Fighter 5 being a Namco character even stronger, and especially fortifies the argument that the character is from Soul Calibur, particularly Nightmare. Why, even if we swap out Lloyd for Heihachi, it still thematically makes sense because Heihachi is not only a Namco fighting game character too, but even was a guest fighter in Soul Calibur 2. Jesus! It fits together so damn perfect that it's absurd. Conclusion. Based on this exhausting review, we come to some very important conclusions. Because of the time frames of everything, cut content was probably just put in the vault for future use because it's 1. third party and had to be negotiated for, and 2. were original parts of the Fighter's Pass initial draft. Again, if the Fighter's Pass was originally final, I've highlighted how it was mapped out to bring back every missing third-party costume in tow to balance every pass to a perfect 6 Mii costumes per pass. With things being jumbled, assets got put in the vault to be used later, and those assets are Geno, Chocobo, Lloyd, Mega Man X, and Mega Man X, Square, Namco, and Capcom. All supported by the power of 6 theory and insider intel that more Square, Namco, and Capcom characters were heavily rumored and seemingly on the way. Eureka! Hallelujah! I'm actually sweating as always. This is just my own speculation, but damn was this fun to write out.
So, does that mean that Nightmare was swapped with another fighter?
No. It means that number 5 probably is Nightmare, or at the very least Soul Calibur, or at the very least still Namco. I think one of the 4 will happen. Single reveal. Nightmare and Nintendo Hardcore teases DLC news coming soon. Dual reveal. Nightmare or Lloyd. Dual reveal. Nightmare or Rue. Triple reveal. Nightmare or do 2 reveals for post-pass. I've made a lot of posts about Nightmare in the past couple of days. I have virtually no attachment to the character, and the last time I played a Soul Calibur game was probably 2004. Logically, I think it makes a ton of sense. As for Verge, technically hasn't gotten anything right about Smash since last August. Has had a horrible year altogether. Has fallen for not 1, but 2 major cases of leakbait. Used to regularly beg Sabi to let him talk to the Nintendo of America source because he was regularly without good leads for Nintendo stuff. Has been hemorrhaging reliable sources since February because of Star Fox Grand Prix.
This post was covered by blocked content, which no doubt boosts its credibility.
For those of you guys who like giveaways, well, we're giving away a Piranha Plant plushie at 50k and this beautiful What's Happening My Block Buddies t-shirt at 40k subscribers. So please hit the subscribe button do it, and you will enter for those 2 giveaways right now. Alright guys, let's head.
Alright. away into the news!
FATMANONICE has also had quite a lot of threads made about him on GameFAQs, which caught the attention of the most credible leaker, SMASHBURB, who decided to log on to Smashboards for the first time in 6 months to try to debunk his claims and not look like a hypocrite.
Just gonna do a casual drive-by and point out a major deed you decided to leave out of this tear-filled retirement speech. You didn't retire, you were kicked out of the group. I get that you've grown to like this wannabe insider persona and the attention it draws you, hence why you chose to pretend you had this honorable exit instead of being tossed out of the group in embarrassing fashion for being a nuisance. But in case you weren't aware, you're already a laughing stock elsewhere in the Smash community. Nothing you say comes to fruition, and people who actually have close ties to leakers say that the people you pretend to be tied to the hip to are routinely annoyed by your antics. Don't throw stones when you're living in a glass house. Or, in this case, a house with a black bird perched atop it. Remember that? Good times. You haven't gotten a darn thing right except stuff that doesn't require inside knowledge to guess. Half the community was predicting content after the fighters pass. You went from saying there were 4 possible candidates who are similar but are from different companies to, it's Lloyd, Nightmare, or Saul Bad Guy, to, it's definitely Nightmare in under a month. I won't stick around and cause trouble here. This post is meant to be a one-off, but I'll be sure to come back when it's not Nightmare and laugh hysterically over your latest blunder. Sound good, Mr. Insider?
Being a jerk to people on the internet doesn't make you look cool, bruh.
I'd argue that lying to people for attention and getting people's hopes up for nothing. Guy knew that the Starling wasn't an actual leak. Is less necessary and even more of a jerk move than calling someone out on their BS, but Hey,
who are you?
A ghost from Smashboards past, just dropping by to call out some half-truths, blatant lies, and insane hypocrisies. Stirring the pot is sorta my shtick. As I said previously, I'm not going to be sticking around. My one and only purpose for visiting this thread was to call Fatman out on the nonsense he's been spewing. Just disregard me and continue business as usual.
Bro, is this kind of vitriol necessary? Even more so that you walked right into this thread looking to pick a fight, not cool.
It wouldn't be the first time he does this in this website or any forum board out there.
Yeah, I'm still calling out BS. Just like you're still latching on to said BSers. Remember last year when you lied to everyone in the midst of my LOZ18 expose, and even went on Discord and bragged about how you duped people here? That was fun, lol.
Want to hear some whole truths? Game journalism is a fake career. Therefore, all those literal Who insiders and Discord members are truly the lowest of the low for being lackeys of other failures. Insider and attention seeker are synonymous, with Sabi being the most pretentious weirdo of all, judging by tweets and behavior, who has time to run Discords and sniff booty for insider information. Failures at everything else. Get a real job. Your input has been noted. You can stop telling how much you don't plan on sticking around.
Okay, I actually 100% agree with this statement. Despite this user going on to say hilariously dumb stuff like this.
Yeah, that's funny, almost like a soft raid. You think we're dumb, bro. 2009 tactics.
I swear to God, I'm getting sick of this BS behavior of, you know what, let's mock FATMANONICE because we don't have anything better to do with our lives.
Please, if you're not going to contribute anything useful to this thread, then
just leave, because what we least need in this place is people like you.
My hubby Burb has come back from the war. Where have you been, my sweet papoose? Are you injured? Have they been feeding you? Oh, I'm so happy.
Guys, just report posts like that and carry on, no reason to engage.
I find it funny that this post was liked by an administrator. It just goes to show that the people who run Smashboards love censorship and view opposing speech as trolling. Although Burb loves hugboxes as well. After he made the posts, other GameFAQs members started creating accounts to call out FATMANONICE. FATMANONICE also gave us a good look at his phone, which really needs to be charged. Maybe he could get a charger for his birthday.